Welcome back, Hanson Athletics Radio, episode 19. This is Darren Hanson, your host, and we have Jeremy Wolf on the show today. He's a coach at Hustle One Fitness in South Carolina and a fellow Block One coach. I wanted to connect with him and talk over a couple things concerning coronavirus, how his clients are doing from home, and the obstacles they're facing, and including if you come up on a situation where you need to find a good online coach or you need to find a new coach in person, giving you some tools and questions to make sure that you are hiring the coach that's right for you and can give you the best results. So tune in, take these nuggets from it, and I appreciate you guys listening. And we'll call Jeremy up now. Appreciate you guys and enjoy the show.
All right. So we got Jeremy Wolf here today. He's a fellow Block One. That's where I've met him. Personally, and then he has a USAW Level 1 certification, as well as his personal training through NASM. And then he's at Hustle One Fitness, and that's in South Carolina. Is that correct?
Yep, Charleston, South Carolina.
Charleston. So Jeremy, everyone, he's going to kind of fill you in on his background, and then we're going to dive into some questions for him.
Yeah, like you said, Block One coach, and I think honestly that was probably the coolest certification I've done thus far. I haven't found one better. I liked it so much. I even signed up for that ACL prep one.
Me too. Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I haven't gotten to dive into it yet. That's for this evening. But I grew up in Illinois. I did a lot of Athletic Republic, so I had certifications with that, but those long since expired. I think Athletic Republic actually got bought out by some other company way back in the day. But so I've done a lot of like speed and agility work with youth athletes. As I made my way down to Charleston, I kind of made the switch to personal training. It's just much easier to get into down here. There's not as many athletic performance facilities. So that was just an easy transition. So I'm right now just personal training, really general pop. I'm really trying to get into the youth athletics again. Had everything set up, and then the quarantine hit, so that got pushed on the back burner. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this summer we'll be able to get that up and going, because these athletes need to get their butts in shape for next season. So
that's what's funny is I say the same thing to people. Is people will come to me and say, what certification should I go get? What should I do? And like I have my CSCS and USAW national, like I have a bunch of certifications, but
yeah, I
always say at the end of the day, it's still that Block One in terms of, actually having to know the material, perform on the material. And then they're willing to tell you no. Right.
Yeah.
So I think since I've done that Block One, my business has taken off, my ability to have conversations with parents, coaches, athletes, other facility directors, like on just training in general.
Yeah.
I think they arm you with the knowledge to be able to do that, which is more powerful than really anything that I've had thus far in terms of training as a coach. So you tell them like Power Athlete Block One, and they're like, what the hell is that? Like I've never even heard of it.
Yeah. I know. I joke around with some friends where I'm like, if I go into an interview and I'll casually just lay the Block One out, like the wellboard name, and if they know it, then I'm interested in working with them.
Yeah. Most
of the time they're like, "Is that CrossFit football?" And it's like, "All right, we can start a dialogue now. Let's we'll talk about it." Yeah. It's interesting like how they set it up. I mean, they're still putting out blog articles, so you still have knowledge of everything. And I may not be doing athletics right now, but it's so applicable to just regular personal training.
Yeah, because we have quite a few high school athletes, but I mean, we take the principles that we do with our athletes and use them across everyone. So I think it's applicable in that sense to everyone. And then the network of coaches that it kind of gets you in touch with, as well as, they continue to provide, like you said, continuing education and stuff that's only, even just that Slack channel where everybody's just throwing in information, free articles.
Yeah, there are some times where that Slack channel is too much, man. There's so much information on there. Like if you're not on there every day and you miss like a day of it, it's just you're playing catch up.
Yeah,
there's so much. So.
Yeah, but it's just a lot of value they bring, and then so I always recommend coaches to go there, and it's kind of helps shape what we do at our facility here, and then with our online clients, and it's been thus far very successful. So. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's awesome, man. Like, and we would have never met, you know. So
No, yeah.
there we go.
I was just the guy yelling punch and hammer for a couple hours, and then we went and scooted around town for
That
a
was
little
a good
while.
time.
Yeah, it's a solid evening.
Yeah, that was solid.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about some topics to kind of go over, and the first one I wanted to kind of hit with you is obviously you already kind of mentioned the setback the quarantine had for you, and I'm curious, you know, how Hustle One Fitness and yourself as a coach are handling the quarantine. I mean, is there a light at the end of the tunnel where you're at in South Carolina? How are people reacting to it, and what your gym members? What has that been like?
Yeah, so like we'll start from the beginning. Like the quarantine started going on, and they started kind of restricting like groups that we could be in. So it went from just having 15 people in a class to now we're going to drop to 10. Now we're going to drop it to 3, and just slowly decrease the amount of people we could have. So the owner he decided to do all Zoom classes, and those have just taken off. Like everybody's at home and they're loving it. I mean, I don't love doing Zoom. I've got a lot of Zoom classes or clients myself, and it's different. I like the personal aspect of it, but he is like on a whole new level with that. He's crushing it out. He's just sitting at the gym, coaching people out, and we've gotten more members at our gym now than we did when we closed. It's crazy.
Wow.
Like I think when we come back the first day, I'm going to be like, I don't know half of you guys right now. I've never met you in person, but you've been a member for 2 months.
That's wild.
So it's pretty cool how that's happening. Thankfully, I've got a private studio I've been able to use. So it's just one squat rack and a couple bars. So I've got a few clients there. I'm lucky enough to have a big old tractor tire. I'm sure you might have seen some of my videos. I've been making some clients flip a tire. So that's been my favorite. Like I grew up in cornfields and we did tire flips and truck pushes for a workout.
So you're feeling at home.
Oh yeah. So I'm scattered all over the place right now, doing programming and whatnot, but thankfully there is a potential light under the tunnel or at the end of the tunnel. We've got a possibility that we're going to be opening up, kind of reverse how we close. So slowly have people come back to the gym, in the next week or two, depending on when Charleston lifts the, stay-at-home order. Looks like early May. So we'll be able to ramp it back up. And there's just so many unknowns right now. It's about being on top of people and just making sure they're coming back in.
Yeah. So real quick on top of that, your owner, you said he's really diving into the Zoom, right?
Yeah.
First question would be, do you think that's going to be something that continues once you're open? And second question is, do you think there's professionals in our field, maybe not particularly him, that are going to find that maybe they don't even want to do the in-person anymore? And then your thoughts on that in terms of the value that it brings to be in person versus Zoom.
Yeah. I mean, I think for sure it's going to be sticking around. I think people wouldn't be a smart business move if they just cut it out. It's huge for people. Like we were lucky enough to have equipment that we could rent to some of our members. But if they were to buy a few things themselves, I mean, you can stick with Zoom for forever. It's so simple. You can do 30 minutes, you can do hour, whatever it may be, from the safety of your home, from the peace and quiet of your home. I mean, nowadays we have like iPads that you can literally magnet up to a squat rack, and I can just be sitting here at my desk telling you how to squat, So I think it's absolutely going to stick around. I may not be the leader of it. I'm the least technologically savvy person you'll ever meet. So I think he'll spearhead it, and I'll get in as much as I can and try to grow my knowledge, because you got to follow the money in this industry. It's tough to just go out on your own and not follow the trends. People are going to start finding that big gyms are a little bit tougher to run. So doing it from your home or doing it from the safety of your desk is going to be a very easy thing to do. Now, whether a number of our members will stay on it, I don't know, because I know at least 10 people from our gym are members at other gyms. The owners just haven't taken up the Zoom like we have, so they could just be temporary members. I'm not sure. I'm hoping they stick around. We're going to definitely offer like some packages with Zoom workouts. So
yeah.
it's definitely, I mean, it's definitely something to look into, like online programming itself is huge. And I think so many people are terrible at utilizing it. And I know you're using Train Heroic, which is such a good platform. It makes everything so much easier. I think if you're not doing any programming, you're failing as a trainer.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think, I think this whole thing will kind of maybe not necessarily change the direction our industry was going. I think it already was headed that way, but this is definitely, I mean, everyone's seen it. All of a sudden, all your social media, every trainer you ever know was like trying to get clients online, right? And I've been working on that. Yeah, I've been working on that for 8 years, and it was still felt busy. And now I'm like, wow. So I think there's going to be a direction with that. I don't think that. So it's hard to like decipher between, I think my people that I just have online that I don't see in person, I would consider myself like more of a trainer. And then the people that come in to the gym, I get to actually coach them more.
Yeah.
Which I think there's a stark line between just like being a trainer and being an actual coach.
For sure.
So what's tough for me is like, I would hate to see people think that, there's not a higher value in working with someone in person than there is working with someone online. So,
right. Well, you got to look at it too. There are just different tiers of people and clients, like I've got clients that I have trained for a few years where if I never saw them again and just gave them programming, I know 100% they're going to get the best results.
Yeah.
But then you have the people who have a little more issues. They don't have that neuromuscular coordination, or they have, back injury, shoulder injury, whatever. Me giving them a program is going to do them a disservice, and it's going to lower the standard of my training.
Yeah.
So, you just have to kind of gauge that on your own, I feel, and move forward with that. Like, if I've talked to a few people who are just like, I just want to work out like once a week, and then you write me a programming, and they come in day one and they can't control any limb on their body. They tell their right arm to move and the left leg moves. It's just like, okay, well, I can't write you a program right now. Let's train together for a few months and we'll reassess how that works. Because if I give you something, I'm afraid you're going to hurt yourself, or you're just not going to do it right.
Yeah, and that's not what people want to hear. That's the hard part in our industry too. Is it's not. Yeah, there's no secret. There's no like the program I write you is not going to change your life unless you're understanding like the implementation, or you're to the level where you can do it on your own. That's the thing I battle with personally, is like, I try to make the online as quality as I can, but at the end of the day, it's not going to truly bring to the table what I can as a coach, I feel like, in person. So like I use Train Heroic and True Coach, but I've been like working on getting videos in there for my full assessment that people do when they come into my gym. So like a full assessment, daily check-ins, more video of me demonstrating personally, talking through stuff. Like it takes a lot of effort to actually bring a good product online. And I think that'll be some stuff that people struggle with, is they'll like be like, it's easy to get on the internet, but it's hard to make a product that really like makes the people feel like it's worth their money.
Right.
In the long run.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I think every gym owner though, and every personal trainer should have both avenues, not just one. And I know there's a lot of probably old school or older coaches than us that just won't even want to do that.
Yeah.
So it's a huge market for, I think, up and coming trainers that know how to use a computer and stuff like that. So.
Absolutely. I mean, we're a little up and coming here. We're in like this uncharted area right now, where if you're just one-sided, I think you're gonna fall behind, unless you are one of those just established coaches who have people coming in no matter what. And I think in my many years of training, I found that's not the case for the majority of the trainers. You know? So many people. I mean, I'm in a big city, moderately big city, I should say. And there are 101 trainers. There are the few that are online, and everybody goes to them because they're online. They've been here for a while. Whether or not the best trainer, they don't know that. People don't know the difference. You know, they just see what's getting the most likes, and they go to them. Then you have the people who are in the brick and mortar, and they're crushing it out. They're doing a great job. It's just hard for them to get the word of the mouth out. They have to take a reassessment there and figure out, you know what, maybe it's time to get on social media. Like we were talking about earlier, like both of us have been a little bit slack on posting and getting our names out there. But and like doing stuff like this is how it's going to move our business in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree.
It's very interesting, like what direction this industry is going to go to. It's not going to be completely changed, but I think just health and wellness in general is going to be at an all-time demand when we get back from this. Like I'm hoping when I get back to work, I have like 3 times as many clients, and I'm dying from lack of sleep because I'm working so much. Like I would love that.
Yeah.
You know?
And yeah, if anything, for my clients that I have right now in Pocatello, I mean, I've had almost all of them reach out and say, hey, I need to get back. Like, I think they notice the stark difference. Like sometimes you just get in the groove and you don't realize you feel way better because you are working out and you're getting stronger. And then all of a sudden it's taken away from you for 2 months. And you're like, actually, this is probably one of the most important things I'm spending my money on.
Right.
So yeah, they're all itching to get back in. And then I've actually got a couple new clients. Like you said, I think the people that make it through, this actually will increase the demand of getting people's health and wellness in line and getting strong. But I also know a lot of coaches that after this break are like a couple gym owners. They're like, I don't know if what I was doing before I'm really that passionate about. I don't even know if I want to. Like it's an easy time also to go out of business and call it good.
Yeah, right now. I mean, I can say too, like there have been times where I've doubted my career choice. Like I love training. It's something I always want to do, but you hit these little bumps in the road and you start to question. It's hard not to, but just knowing that you're helping people and then you're doing what you love every day definitely pulls you past it.
It is long, hard out. Like shit, you're working with people who aren't at work. So like my day, you wake up 5:30, train somebody. We lift ourselves at like 6:15. Go to my day job. That's a marketing job. And I work there and I go back and train people in the middle of the day. And then I come back and work. And then I get home at 8:30. So basically like you're working a lot. And
well, you've got a second job too. That's even more intense.
Right now it just works out perfect. So I do marketing for a physical therapy clinic. So a lot of the stuff that we teach is in line with each other. And that's where my gym was for a little bit. We shared a space. So I do like doctor relations and putting together some social stuff and training the technicians on movement and stuff like that. So it's like a perfect pair, but it's hard to like, have eggs in both baskets. So
I bet.
It's a lot of work, but
absolutely. I mean, like you said, the hours themselves are crazy. Like I don't control my schedule anymore. My schedule is at the will of my clients. I'm at a point where like, if you want to train, I'll come in and train you. Let's do it. If I have to miss a little bit of my workout time and speed it up, I'm going to have to do that right now. I'm willing to bend over backwards right now for the better good of my clients.
Which I think is what trainers or coaches do, right? That's maybe the difference between a trainer and a coach.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool. So let's move on. The next little topic I had was we kind of got into it, training through quarantine. So, I mean, we've already kind of talked about how the online option has become something, but I guess we could kind of tie this together with, what mental or physical problems are you running into with your clients trying to move to the online side?
Yeah, it's been really interesting. I mean, it yourself. I believe you were talking on another podcast about it, which sometimes you'll have a client come in and you may only get through a few exercises, but it just emotionally they're suffering from whatever else is going on. So you come in as a new client and you're admitting you have done something wrong in your life and you've gained extra weight and you're trying to accept that and become a better person, get healthier, lose weight, get stronger, whatever it may be. And we do all this work to get you into that routine where fitness, nutrition, health comes first. And we make all this headway and something like this happens and you're basically your world shatters. Instead of having that normal routine where it's like, I wake up at 5 a.m, go work out. I come back home, eat, go to work, sleep, repeat. You don't have that structure anymore. You're just like, I have all this empty space. I don't know what to do. So I found that with a few of my clients, I had to sit down and literally map out like every hour of the day of like how we're going to get back into the schedule. It's like, just because the world's about to end doesn't mean your fitness journey does, you know?
Yeah. If anything, it'll help you to survive.
Exactly. The survival of the fittest, right?
Yeah.
They weren't talking about mental fittest. They were talking about the physical fittest, you know?
Yeah.
That's why the Jack Streeters are going to be in a little bit of trouble moving forward.
I don't believe that, dude.
I know you
Jack
abandoned
Streeters
ship.
are
You
going to
left.
survive the longest, dude.
Oh man, you left. You were a field stronger. Don't forget that.
Oh, I
Don't you
started there.
forget
I was
that.
on Jack for like a year, and I went back and did I wanted to do the like triphasic program,
Yeah, the French contrast.
which was awesome.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, I was so beat, dude. I was like,
Yeah, it was tough.
but I was feeling strong. But yeah, dude, I don't know. We did that throwdown, and I mean, we weren't at the top of everything, but I'm pretty sure I took like third to second in most of them. So I think if they did like an
Hey, man.
overall winner,
You're not first, you're last. That's all
I'd be
I'm
in the
saying.
top three. You're probably gonna survive if you're in the top three. If the world
Sure.
comes to it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's all about survival. It's not about winning. It's about
You
surviving.
just got to be friends with 1 and 2, dude. That's all.
Exactly.
I'm good
Yeah.
at that.
Create the pack. Yeah, we'll have a whole block 1 outfit going on.
Yeah. But no, I
yeah.
mean, I think Jack Street is superior, but I just need to. I haven't even been doing really the
Tweet
Wednesdays
your
or
own.
Saturdays, dude. I don't do the conditioning days because I go ride my bike.
Yeah, I'm glad you've been get into mountain biking. It's a lot of fun. I miss
Yeah.
doing it. We don't have any mountains down here.
Yeah, I've just found that for myself. Like, I'll do sprints and jumps, have that in the Jack Street, but like for my conditioning, right now I'm just way happier doing something outside, like whether it's going
Oh,
to
yeah.
hike, ride a bike.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I just right now
Doing
would rather
life.
spend time outside the gym,
Yeah.
which may not be as effective in terms of just getting in aerobic shape, but it's mentally much more enjoyable for me. So,
Right. Yeah.
I'm in
Mentally and
Idaho.
physically, they go hand in hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so you can't
Yeah.
just sit there in the gym constantly. You got to get out and use the fitness a little bit and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So,
And I thought it was interesting that you brought up you had to like sit down with clients and hash out their schedule, because that was like the first
Yeah.
thing that I found and started to work with my members that were at home or whatnot was like,
mhm.
you guys need to pick a specific time of the day that just like it's just as important as when you were coming and seeing me.
Right.
And like you block that out in your schedule, and that's the only thing you're allowed to do at that time. I
Right.
think people just don't, like, if they don't feel the responsibility or accountability to come and see me and know that I'm sitting on the other like side of that, they don't block it off. And then by the end of the day, you know, things just get stacked up. And then they're too tired at 5 or 6 o'clock to work out, you know?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. And I
that's
mean,
huge. Yeah.
I needed that structure as well. Like, I'm a creature of habit. I need my routine. And the second this all fell off, like my boss had to sit down and was like, all right, let's figure this out, like moving forward, because you need some structure in your life. It was like, thank you. I need the help. Let's go.
Yeah.
So, you know, we sat down and it was literally like, what time do you wake up? Okay, 4:30. Cool. And then just literally going down in like 30-minute hour blocks and like programming everything. And that's helped me. So that's where I kind of got that from. And you start to see that first week when everybody was on quarantine, the attendance rating dropped significantly. So I had to get on the phone, get on Zoom, whatever it may be, and sit through a client and talk about their schedule. So
Yeah.
it's definitely
Yeah, I think
helped a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a powerful tool. Just like holding that's what we're trying to teach people though, is like, how do you hold we need to get you to be able to hold yourself accountable.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's not always about, like, my vision is, I mean, our youth athletes, we're preparing to go, majority of our youth kids, we're either preparing for them to go play a sport in college
Mhm.
or just go to college. And like, if we can
Right.
like instill this habit with the kids, and they understand how to train, they understand how to move and take care of themselves, they're safeguarded against shitty coaching, and they have the priority to like get it done every day. Like,
Yeah.
you're empowering those kids with not only like, are they going to do okay at college sports, but let's look at the next 80 years of their life down the road. Like, if you can get
Absolutely.
that seed in them early, like, it's
Mhm.
going to change their life in terms of what they feel they're capable. It's going to affect their professional career. It's going to affect their
Absolutely.
relationships. Like, that's what I think is so awesome. And even with my older clients, it's like, the way I'm approach it is I'm not trying, like, it's not like I want to have to train them forever. It's like realistically, most people that come in, I would say in 3 or 4 months, if they wanted to, they could walk away, have their own facility in their garage, and they might still want me to program them, write them workouts, because that's kind of not super easy, but they're super easy to do well. I guess it's super easy to just write stuff down, but
anyone can do that.
They could be successful with that, but people want to stay, like, because of the connection you make as a coach.
Absolutely.
But my goal is always to, like, they could take it and go be a coach themselves, or just take care of themselves for the rest of their life. You know?
Absolutely.
And
like I tell my clients the same thing, where it's like, as much as I would love to train you the rest of our lives, I know that's not realistic. Like, financially, I get it, but I want you to walk away from this with a better understanding of how to train and how to move in and out of the gym. You know, hopefully make a better lifestyle choice. You know, don't eat the garbage. Don't just sit and watch TV all day. Like, I want you to, like, actually go outside. Like, my prescription for people right now is spend an hour outside. It's 80 degrees out in Charleston. Like, get some sun. If I don't see your sunburned skin, we're going to have some issues. We're going to be doing some burpees.
I like it.
Yeah. So I think that just for mental clarity and just all around health, it's got to happen.
Yeah. So that leads me to another question with you, the kind of the last one before we wrap it up. How can I kind of twist this one, because we talked about this, but how can people be more safeguarded or more aware of bullshit that's on social media versus, things that could potentially help them, you know?
Yeah. Well, if they're not a Block 1 coach, it doesn't count. So,
So there's only 100 coaches in the world.
That's it. That's where we draw the line. Only 100. so people that know what they're doing. I mean, it's really tough to do. It's like somebody used an analogy where it's like, if your car breaks down, you go to a mechanic. If your throat hurts, you go to a doctor. If you're out of shape, you go to Instagram. It's like, okay, well, how about go to a local gym? You know, maybe not the big box gyms. Those aren't always going to be the best deal. And you want to find a trainer that isn't doing it to pay for college. They're doing this as a career. Those are usually going to be the trainers that you want to trust. You know, I've worked with people who are like, yeah, I'm just in college and I'm just doing this to pay the bills because it works with my schedule. Yeah, those might be very good trainers, and it's tough to decipher which ones. I would just recommend going for somebody who's going to make a career out of this, because those are the people who will probably put more money and more time into their education.
Yeah.
You know, then there's not always just the one answer. It's going to be tough, you know, and realistically find someone who you can trust. Talk to them. Like, if they give a free session and they sit down and talk with you for a little while and you feel comfortable, pull the trigger. You know?
Yeah. So on the online side, like, my recommendation would be avoid anything that's like a quick fix or telling you that you can create change instantly. Right.
Yeah.
Anything that's like that is probably is actually false.
30 day to abs.
Like, not probably. It actually is false. So let's just get that out there. Anything that promises like a quick fix, you know, it's not going to work. And
me personally, I tell some of my clients where it's like, how long did it take you to get out of shape? You know, you got to the stage over a few years, right? It's not going to take the 3 months. It's going to take you a few years to get to exactly where you want. Not saying you can't get there quicker, but it's going to take time. Like, I want you to look in the mirror in a year and be like, hot damn, I am sexy over here. That's what I want. I don't want, like, in a month you to be like, I don't see any difference, because you might not, but you'll feel better. You'll definitely feel better.
That's the first thing, right? Is to feel better, and then the body follows.
Exactly.
But to build on what you said about, like, if you're looking for an in-person trainer, I think like some piece of advice would be like, walk in, kind of assess what's going on in there. See, maybe walk in it early so you can see them working with somebody else. Are they attentive? Are they on their phone? How much engagement are they giving? And then on top of that, like, your first question or a couple questions in should be, you know, so maybe not like the certification question, because I don't think all certifications
people aren't going to know either. Like, if I told one of my clients I'm a Block 1, they're going to be like, that's cool. Yeah. What is a block one?
Yeah, I think what I would ask if I was a consumer right now is so in the last year, what have you done for continuing education and what did you learn? Or something like that. And if they haven't invested in that and you pop that question on, they're going to be like shit in their pants real quick.
Yeah. So I listened to a podcast once, I think.
Yeah. So I think that's a good question. I think.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I'm going to have to jot that one down for my use.
I think a good one too would be if you have a trainer that you worked with previously in another area that you trust and was good, say, hey, would you mind giving this trainer a call and just talking to him for 5-10 minutes? I could get on the phone probably with most trainers and just start talking about methodology. Hey, what do you believe? How do you train your people? How do you write your programming? Why do you write it that way? And you're going to know if they at least have direction. And it doesn't have to be necessarily what I believe, right? It's not, it doesn't have to be exactly what I do or what I believe, but if they can't give me a solid 5 minutes of why they do what they do,
right,
that's a big red flag. So
absolutely,
I think that's important too. And I think that's what's powerful about Power Athlete, even CrossFit, as much as I don't like it, is they give this methodology, story, and reasoning behind why they do what they do, whether it's wrong or right. And then their coaches can kind of build off that per se. And then you have the ability to have those conversations and have direction with your coaching, your training, your programming, and whatnot. So if a coach hasn't invested in diving into that stuff, most likely they're just guessing with you, which is just as good as that 30-day ab program usually. And if anything, it might work right away, but it's not going to provide you with the ability and the logic to continue to train yourself down the road. If I can't teach you the principles that I have because I don't really have them, I'm just changing it week to week. That's how your fitness is going to go down the road when you try to take it into your own hands.
Right. Absolutely. For sure. I definitely agree with that. And I think a lot of trainers are, they're a little worse at explaining why they do something. I think they went and did an online course and they're like, okay, so I'm going to basically do squats and deadlifts and all the booty burning stuff you can do, but they can't explain why.
Yeah.
They can't explain what is the overall goal. They don't know. And it's very easy as a client to kind of get swept up into the end goal. I want to look like this, or I want to lose 30 pounds. They only see that. They don't see the whole picture. And I think it's important for a trainer to be able to explain that. And I think as a client, you should feel comfortable with that trainer and having them expand on your goals. If you walk in there saying, I just want to lose 30 pounds, if the trainer's like, okay, cool, give me 6 months. I don't know if that's going to be the best trainer for you. You
probably want them to ask why, right? Why do you want to lose 30 pounds?
Right.
And
why 30 pounds?
And build from there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I've had clients that come in and they're like, I need to lose 10 pounds. And I'm looking at them. I'm like, well, you're 5'8", you're 150 pounds. You could actually stand to gain maybe a few pounds, but just lose some of the fat. So whoever told you needed to lose that way is just the society you see on Instagram. So it's all relative for people.
A lot of my females, particularly my 40, 50, 60-year-old ladies, they actually either are pretty close the same way as when they started coming in, or they're a little heavier, but they've gone down some sizes in clothing.
Right. Yeah. That's the biggest thing you think. It's if somebody comes in there and they want to lose weight, I'm like, throw out the scale. I want you to have to throw out pant sizes. I want you to throw out old shirts because they're too baggy on you.
Yeah.
You might actually gain weight, and that's a good thing. Muscle is going to help in the long run. And guess what? You're not going to look big and bulky. Nobody's going to realize that you're a jacked CrossFitter.
Dude, it is so hard to get bulky. Especially people when they're like, oh, dude, I just don't want to be jacked. And I'm like, Don't worry. It's going to take a lot of effort to get jacked.
I need you to know that I have been lifting weights for 15 years and I'm still not jacked.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the most average looking person right now. Like, I've been trying. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's not that easy.
So, yeah, it's not like you're going to accidentally just get jacked. So.
Yeah, you're not going to wake up in a month and be like, damn, I have biceps that are going to crush everything. It's like,
yeah, that just cracks me up. But yeah, I don't like the scale either. I think it's such a superficial goal, and it's never going to last them, you know, for their lifetime in terms of why they're doing it.
Yeah, like I'm a big believer in like the mind-body connection, and if you stand on the scale every single day and you don't see a huge change, it's going to get into your brain that you're not losing weight, and that's going to just radiate into everything else. And I mean, step on a scale once every few months just to make sure you're heading in the right direction, but as a person, like, you should feel it. You should feel the difference. You should see the difference. You don't have to like stand on the scale to tell you if you're doing a good job or not.
Yeah. And when I was in college, we did in my exercise science degree, we did kind of like a little final project on people that were between a certain age group within our community at 3 different rest homes, and people that were at home and people that were being taken care of at rest homes. So we did VO2 max, we did base strength levels, and we did body fat percentage and whatnot. Those were the 3 main things, though. We took some other information like, do you smoke, do you drink, da, da, da. Mm-hmm. But the only thing we could find that separated the people that were in rest homes and the people that were living on their own with a higher quality of life was base strength levels. So that kind of solidified my younger self in knowing that, like, I think strength is at the top of the totem pole when it comes to longevity and a lifetime of being able to do what you want to do, despite what you look like, despite if you're you know, you have a higher body fat percentage. It's like, how strong are you?
Right.
At the end of the day, that's what's going to keep you from breaking down earlier. So yeah, that was huge for me, and that's something I always tell my clients is my ladies is it's like, do you care about how you look? But if I told you the stuff we're working on now is going to make you look better, and you're going to be able to take care of yourself and have a higher quality of life longer,
right. Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't tell me that's, at the end of the day, that's not more important to you.
Right.
You know?
You may not think it right at this moment, but give yourself a few years and you're going to think that's the most important thing. Like, for me, I want to be that old dude at like 75 that can play a little bit of basketball with my grandkids. Yeah. I'm not going to be great, but I can shoot and I'm not going to break a hip. I want to be able to just move. You know?
I love it. Yeah. Like, my goal is kind of weird. So I want to make it to 80 because I watch all these old school movies and I think it'd be way cool to start smoking cigarettes. So if I can make it to 80, I'm going to pick up smoking.
There you go.
Because I'm already like later in life and I want to be cool and be able to like sit on the deck. And
you just want to become the old guy who doesn't give a crap.
Yeah. Like, I'm smoking a cigarette. I'm drinking some whiskey on my lawn, yelling at people for getting on my yard.
You need to stop watching Gran Torino, man.
I know. But like, that's my goal, is to make it to 80 so I can start smoking. Which
there you go. You might not hit 81, but you'll get 80. That's for sure.
Well, it takes a while to get lung cancer, I think. So I think
that's what they say, but you never know.
But that's one of my goals, which is weird. But
hey, teach their own, man. It's America. You can do what you want.
Yeah. So that's awesome, man. Where can people connect with you on social media? I'll link everything into the show notes. But where can people find you? Where can people connect with you if they have questions about this conversation, or they just kind of want to dive into more of what you're doing?
Yeah. So one, they can check out our website at hustle1fitness.com, or you can go onto my Instagram page. It's Wolfie23_fitness. You'll have to get that on the show notes. Find me on Facebook, Jeremy Wolf. Those are probably the best ways to get a hold of me. Email, I check on occasion. But if you hit me on Instagram or Facebook, social media, I'm a millennial. I'm going to be on that a lot more.
Awesome. So I'll link those in the show notes. And then I always ask anybody on the show, what's one good book, podcast, article, anything that you've looked at lately or read lately that's you think would be impactful for them?
Well, I'm doing the little Block One book club, so I'm currently reading Fight Club. Um, it's different. It's kind of hard to follow the first few chapters, but it's interesting. Um, Good podcast. Obviously, we're going to go Power Athlete, but I like the Sornex podcast, or a really good one if you want to talk on a lot of topics is going to be the Good Athlete Project.
Okay.
They've got a good one. Let's see. Books, honestly, I like the Hunger Games series. It's such an easy read.
There you go.
I'm into that. I'm into it. I've read them a couple times. Yeah, it's simple. Supposedly there's a new book coming out here pretty soon. I might have to snag.
Yeah, I've read them all, so I would definitely
see?
grab the new one. I was actually growing up was a big time fantasy reader. Everything.
Oh, sure.
Harry Potter, Aragon. I mean, Lord of the Rings. You name it, I've read them all.
I like it.
So
yeah.
That's the thing about me. I used to love to read. Now I'm trying to learn to write a little better with my blog. And
Man, yeah,
writing's hard.
Writing is hard. I've always struggled with like sitting down and reading. I have the attention span of a puppy, man. So it's been tough. Like thankfully with the quarantine, I'm actually blocking out time to read, which has been great. I hate it, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make that pact with myself to read every day.
There you go, dude.
Yeah.
There you go.
And not
all right,
turn on the
man.
TV
Well,
so much.
we appreciate having you on.
Man, I appreciate it. This has been great.
Yeah,
Glad we were able to connect.
We can do a follow-up one potentially once you guys get done with out of quarantine and whatnot and kind of get back to normal life. I'd be interested in hearing for Hustle One in South Carolina, you know, how does that look? How does it go? How are people reacting to it in your area?
Yeah.
And whatnot. So,
yeah, for sure. I'd like to see if any of the stuff we were talking about comes true.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for being on, man.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. If you have any questions, you can reach out to myself at hansonathletics.com or find Jeremy through the show notes. We're going to make sure he's all linked up in there and you're able to connect with him. I hope you guys found some good nuggets from this and something that you can take into your training or just enjoyed listening. Make sure to go subscribe and give us a thumbs up or 5-star on the show. And I appreciate everything. You can go ahead and support the show just by sharing with your friends and, like I said, subscribing or letting people know that this show exists outside of just my parents. And tune in next week for episode 20 with some local hero realtors that are going to give you the lowdown on marketing and how to grow your business digitally. I'm telling you, this one's going to benefit a lot more than just gym owners or fitness enthusiasts. So again, subscribe. Make sure you keep your eye out. Episode 20 dropping next week. Thanks, guys.